Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're unpacking one of the most remarkable ironies of our modern world. Imagine an invention, tiny right, conceived in the most brilliant labs, with really pure intentions pushing humanity forward, connecting us, maybe even exploring
Yeah,
space.
the highest ideals, right?
Exactly. Yet this very invention, almost silently, became this indispensable, sometimes dangerous player in global geopolitics. And, in how warfare itself evolves.
It really does sound like a spy thriller plot.
It does, but it's happening right now, all around us.
And we are talking, of course, about the microchip, that, unassuming little piece of silicon. It powers everything from your phone to your car, basically every complex system in our digital lives.
Invisible, mostly.
Totally invisible, yet its influence is just huge. And most people don't really think about it. What's really fascinating, I think, is tracing how this quiet revolution, which really started from scientific curiosity, right? Wanting progress.
Hmm.
How that created this massive, totally unforeseen impact on global power and, well, conflict itself.
So, our mission for this deep dive is to follow that surprising journey. We want to trace the microchip's shifts through history, from its almost innocent start
Right.
to its current role as this critical global choke point. The goal is really to show how the same technology that promised instant communication, amazing progress,
Connecting everyone.
also turned into this unseen, incredibly potent tool in the high-stakes game of global power. It's about understanding those deep, often hidden links between innovation and, well, the shadows they sometimes cast.
To really get it, we need to go back a bit. Think about the 1960s.
Sure.
It was an era just completely dominated by the Cold War.
Yeah.
Huge tension, right? A fierce tech race alongside it.
The space race, too.
Exactly. The space race was gripping everyone. This massive ambition to get beyond Earth, to land on the moon. It was a time of immense pressure, definitely, but also just incredible innovation. Urgent science.
Absolutely. And right there in that pressure cooker, not in some huge government building, but often in California garages, early
Yeah.
labs, that's where Silicon Valley was really born.
The mythology, yeah.
Right. Brilliant minds, people like Jack Kilby, Robert Noyce, they were driven by this one big idea: shrink electronics, radically shrink them.
Condense whole circuit boards onto these tiny little chips.
Yeah, and their goal, their ambition was really focused on peaceful stuff, making computers smaller, faster, way more efficient than anyone thought possible.
And think about the applications they had in mind back then. Pure science, really.
Like what?
Well, calculating the super precise trajectories needed for the moon missions. That alone is incredible, helping humanity leave Earth, basically.
Wow.
Or designing quieter, more efficient jet engines, making flying safer, cheaper, maybe even a bit greener. These were just pure engineering breakthroughs, driven by wanting to expand what humans could do, improve life.
The idea that these tiny things would one day be central to military power.
It just wasn't on their radar. Not at all. Completely alien.
Okay, but here's where the story takes that first big twist. Because the very things that let us get to the moon, that incredible precision, the miniaturization, the processing power,
Yeah.
well, that stuff quickly got the attention of military strategists. Very intense calculating attention.
Okay. They saw something different.
They didn't just see efficiency, they saw a game-changing advantage for warfare. And once they made that connection, the implications were immediate and huge.
And what's really striking is how fast the microchip got pulled into the military-industrial complex. It feels almost inevitable looking back, once its tactical potential was seen.
Right.
Suddenly, military gear could become vastly more capable.
Yeah.
Almost unimaginably so. Rockets. They could hit targets with accuracy that was just science fiction before.
Surgical strikes, essentially.
Exactly. Guided bombs became terrifyingly precise, and surveillance much more pervasive, seeing and hearing things you couldn't possibly detect before. This wasn't just a small step. It was like reimagining warfare from the ground up.
And you could see the effects pretty quickly. I mean, look at the first Gulf War, 1991.
The smart bomb war.
That's when the world really saw it, wasn't it? These precision weapons. It almost looked unreal on TV.
Totally. The images were just astonishing. Hitting specific buildings, specific targets, supposedly with minimal collateral damage. It felt like a miracle at the time.
And that miracle, as you said, was built entirely on the humble microchip.
Absolutely. The shift wasn't just about making weapons more destructive, like bigger bombs. It was about making them smarter, giving them a kind of digital brain, right? To navigate, to strike precisely.
That's a revolution in warfare, changing tactics from just, area bombing to these super targeted hits.
It's about using information, processing power, to optimize violence, which is, well, it's a powerful idea and a sobering one.
But this smartness brought its own problems, didn't it? New complexities, unintended consequences.
Oh, definitely.
Because these powerful little chips, these tiny brains, they didn't stay exclusive to the superpowers who first poured money into using them for military stuff. Access grew.
The genie was out of the bottle, as they say,
Yeah.
which always happens with technology, doesn't it?
Seems like it. So what happens when something that powerful starts spreading?
Well, we saw nations all over the globe, and maybe more worrying, even non-state groups start integrating these chips into their own systems. Demand just exploded way beyond official channels.
Creating a kind of shadow economy.
Exactly. Which leads straight to the, let's call it the dark side of this tech revolution.
Yeah.
A pretty sophisticated black market popped up, trading in microchips. Think about it. Illicit networks dealing in parts smaller than your fingernail.
But capable of powering advanced communications or even weapons for groups that shouldn't have them.
Precisely. A hidden economy, quietly boosting the capabilities of actors who couldn't get them otherwise.
Yeah.
Adds a whole other layer of instability, and predictability.
And this brings us pretty much up to today, right? Where the story takes this latest, almost crazy turn.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-boggling. Because the battleground has shifted again, fundamentally.
How so?
It's not just about who has the biggest army anymore or the fanciest jets. Now, the real conflict, the absolute linchpin of global power, is about controlling the supply chain.
The supply chain for the chips themselves.
Exactly. Who can make them? Who has access? Who controls that flow? That's where the strategic leverage is now.
And it's wild to think that Taiwan, a relatively small island,
Right.
now holds the keys to making some of the most advanced chips on the planet. Its geopolitical importance has just skyrocketed, not because of its military, but because it's the silicon heart of global tech.
It's incredible. This one small place is critical for almost every digital device, every advanced industry, every modern military on Earth.
So when you see things like the rising tension in the South China Sea.
Yeah, it's not just about old school territory fights or naval power.
Yeah.
It's deeply, intricately tied to the strategic value of Taiwan's chip manufacturing.
And the tech race between the U.S. and China.
That's fundamentally about controlling or securing access to microchips. It's at the absolute core of that competition.
And the stakes here are just enormous. We're talking about a situation where one disruption, just one, to that concentrated supply chain.
Could be anything. A natural disaster, trade wars getting warmer.
Or even conflict.
Right. And it could cripple not just economies, but entire defense systems globally.
So the invention that promised amazing connectivity
Bringing the world together.
now ironically threatens the ultimate disconnection, a global crisis sparked by a tech bottleneck. There's a shortage of these little chips.
So where does that leave us?
Yeah.
I mean, the irony, the paradox, it's almost overwhelming when you lay it out.
Yeah.
This genius idea, born in a garage, meant to take us to the stars, create tools for peace. Now it's right at the heart of these messy, dangerous power struggles here on Earth.
A microchip,
Yeah.
symbol of progress, right? Now it's this unintended linchpin for global security, turning trade routes into strategic battlegrounds, making tech leadership a matter of survival.
It's such a stark paradox, isn't it? The very thing enabling our hyper-connected world, letting us talk instantly across the globe,
Access endless information.
also highlights our biggest weaknesses, that dream of a borderless digital future. It keeps crashing against the hard realities of geopolitics, all thanks to a piece of silicon smaller than your fingernail.
It really shows how unforeseen consequences can just ripple out from even the most well-intentioned innovations.
Indeed. The microchip, the missile, the whole delicate, dangerous dance of global power, it's all connected, part of the same, often hidden shadow game.
Technology and geopolitics just completely tangled together, influencing each other in ways we're probably still figuring out.
And understanding these unseen threads, these hidden connections between things that seem separate, that's really crucial, isn't it, for navigating the world right now? You have to look beyond the headlines.
Definitely.
So maybe something for you listening to think about. What other inventions, things that seem totally normal, maybe something you use every day, might hold surprising geopolitical weight?
Yeah. What other hidden forces born from innovation could be shaping our reality in ways we just haven't noticed yet?
Keep looking beyond the surface.